Our phones do so much more than just make calls. They're portable cameras. They help us with online banking, online shopping. Today, our entire lives are on them. So what are you supposed to do if you lose it? Or it gets stolen? So public comments criticize the quote omissions and errors throughout the newly proposed history standards. So let's compare the new ones to the same document written in 2015. At its height, the Virginia Department of Health had as many as 1,000 call center workers answering your vaccination questions from their living rooms to their home offices across the state of Virginia. Dozen states already have some kind of law or regulation in place for addressing the issue. Clearing snow from your roof, hood, and car windows is a common safety tip to avoid blinding other drivers as well as yourself on the road. But it's not technically law in Virginia, but a round of rebates could soon be in your bank account or in your mailbox.
All right, so the first thing he pulled out was the phone.
Oh. You quickly learn it takes a lot to become an FBI agent.
That would have been bad.
Thing that you see inside?
Yeah.
From Amazon.
Really?
Yes.
How much of this did you do yourself? Like, obviously you said the wrap on the outside was someone else, right? But
correct.
This story is about African Americans coming together.
What red-blooded American boy doesn't want to be a firefighter?
No matter how much this building and this place have changed, no change quite equals the one that would shape African American history.
Support Ukraine! Support Ukraine!
this is not a faraway, distant story.
It's not a problem, it's disaster.
This is Alex Human's reality.
Me and my wife are from the same town, the small town in Poltava region, and it's already been attacked by Russian forces.
Just as much as it is for Christina Bachman.
The most shocking is that how fast they were able to get to Kiev.
Today they live in Hampton Roads, but Ukraine will always be their home. A home they can only watch from thousands of miles away as Russian forces advance through the country. Ukrainian Americans know the same pain this week as fighting escalates. But this Friday demonstration along Waterside Drive reminds them they're not alone.
This is not first time Ukrainian independence or mere existence is questioned.
Support Ukraine! Support Ukraine!
With loved ones still trapped overseas, fear and worry consume these protesters.
It's the hardest thing in my life.
Cars honk and wave in support in downtown Norfolk. It's one of the few things they have left, knowing they have each other, even through struggle.
No one wanted to think about it.
That's why we didn't want war. We didn't want war.
In Norfolk, I'm Alex Littlehales for 13 News Now.
If a white picket fence symbolizes the American dream,
Oh, let's hope they're not all like that.
maybe this fence is a symbol that Jack Bogus's growing business needs more. More space for his business partners.
It's not that big of a deal other than I've got weirder animals. Yeah.
Roughly 150 animals, everything from exotic
Gordy and that's Zoe
to pedestrian, make up Jack's mobile zoo, Jack's Jungle. Each one holds a special place in Jack's heart, which is why he's glad to see a familiar face.
Heading to a call about an alligator in a pool. It's like we know you're missing one.
This June, Jack reported Splash, a 5-year-old American alligator, missing from its enclosure. Weeks passed before Chesapeake Animal Control called him Friday, spotted down the street in a swimming pool off Taft Road.
Honestly, never thought I was going to see her again, but you could see when she's not under a stressful situation, she's a pretty nice gator.
He says it's unclear how Splash got out in the first place.
The animal control did an inspection of the enclosure and there was no signs of any escape, any breaking.
But Splash is back after a short scare.
She's a lap dog. She'll become a big girl one day.
In Chesapeake, Alex Littlehales for 13 News Now.
Sometimes memories are made when we least expect them.
My husband is just rolling his eyes and saying, "This is so weird, like this is so weird." And because it was really bizarre.
Allison Terrell least expected this.
Yeah.
when she left the dock.
We're just sitting in our beach chairs, and I turn around and the goose is walking up to my husband. A couple of people come up to us on the beach and ask if Herman was our pet.
This Sunday, a goose followed the Terrell family back to their Seaford home.
The boat's going 36 miles an hour, and he ended up chasing after the boat for like 2 miles.
No one knows where it came from until Allison posted the video online.
Knowing now that it is domesticated to some extent, it makes more sense.
This goose isn't exactly a wild goose.
Yeah, she was Lucy Sunbird, and then now she's Lucy the goose.
Hillary Pod and her family reconnected with Lucy after finding Allison's video. Lucy likes the farmland outside their Gloucester County home.
And my husband called me one day and he's like, I found this egg, but she really didn't get all the distinct markings until like very recently.
So until Lucy flies away forever, Hillary will just have to handle living in Lucy's world.
It's her world and we're just living in it.
In Gloucester County, Alex Littlehales for 13 News Now.
When they come to the Historic Triangle, they come because they're interested in history, and that history is incomplete.
I'm learning a lot about my family just within the last few years.
The reason a lot of people don't know about the reservation is because it was too painful for them to talk about.
Most people, when they hear about the history of the South, believe that prior to the Civil War, all black people were enslaved. What they don't often know is that there were free African Americans actually in existence prior to the Civil War.
My grandmother was on the reservation along with her husband. 3 of her children were born there.
So it's been generation after generation of taking care of one another.
They had 3 churches, they had a school, they had a social lodge, and they were free.
And we had always heard the word growing up about the reservation. We learned a lot about the leaves, about the displacement, and when I first read it,
Called it the reservation because the Navy identified it as reserved land.
About 100 families that were actually displaced.
My family was one of the first families that left the reservation. They bought a house in James City County. We can't even imagine that. If that happened to us now, we'd have moving vans. It would be difficult if someone just walked in and say, hey, you have to vacate your house and find somewhere else to stay.
Good morning, everyone. Today we celebrate the culmination of a multi-year effort to uncover history hidden in plain sight. Cousins and friends, we are just getting started. Apply to have a state marker outside of the Naval Weapons Station. Anybody who's driving past the Naval Weapons Station knows that this story existed before the Naval Weapons Station.
Was it emotional? Yes, it has been an emotional roller coaster ride. You can't pick up a history book and find out that people actually lived here. We needed that whole story told. This is not just Virginia history. This is national history. If this marker is not placed there, as the Navy continues to celebrate their history, our history would slowly disappear.
You have to know what your family has gone through to understand what your life is like now. One of the lessons is learn about your family. You know, when you know that your family has been through a struggle, then it should make you stronger.